Day number 6 of the 12 days of MLB rankings is here, and as you saw from the title, we are ranking every left fielder from every team in Major League Baseball from worst to best. The left field position is strange. Truthfully, they might not be even the opening day left fielders. We're going off of a lot of projected spots, and let's be honest, left field is the least important of all the outfield positions. You usually just stick the third guy there. But I will say this, I think this is one of the more talented left fields that we've seen in the last couple seasons, so I'm interested to see what you guys think of the rankings. Of course, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Over 50% of you who watch this video are not subscribed. Click that sub button so you don't miss out on the baseball content. And follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in description. All right, let's get going into these left fielder rankings. Getting to start at number 32 in left field, I've got Joey Loperfido of the Toronto Blue Jays. It's not even that I think Loperfido is a bad player by any means. He was a rookie last year, just got traded. I mean, it was a little bit of a different situation. He's a pretty good athlete, pretty good outfielder, can steal some bases, but we didn't see much in the 81 games they did play. A 214 average, 614 OPS for an OPS plus of 75. There's still a lot more to see with Joey Loperfido, but for right now, he's going to get us started today in left field. Next up at number 31, I've got Seth Brown of the Athletics. Can't call him the Oakland A's anymore. I got to remember that. Seth Brown, last year, not great. Second straight season of being a below average hitter. And for a guy who, if he's going to play the outfield, has to be a good hitter, when you combine the bad defense with subpar hitting, it just puts you towards the bottom of this list. Seth Brown's just not walking as much as he used to, not hitting for as much power. He just is not the same offensive player that he once was. Second straight year of an OPS plus below 100, last year at 91. A 662 OPS, 14 homers, 11 doubles, 44 RBIs. Just not going to cut it right now. But the A's are making moves, so maybe they improve in left at some point. Getting the top 30 started at number 30. Big drop from last year, Andrew Benintendi. I mean, what the heck, guys? Andrew Benintendi actually was better offensively last year. Weirdly hit 20 home runs out of nowhere, but his average dropped a ton. He had a sub 300 on base percentage, a 685 OPS for an OPS plus at 95, and defensively, he was also garbage. Like, I don't know what to do with Andrew Benintendi. Is he the worst left fielder in baseball? He sure plays like it. I can't believe this is the biggest free agent contract in White Sox history. It's going to go down as the worst. It's not even close. Keeping it in the AL Central at number 29, I've got MJ Melendez of the Kansas City Royals. I really like MJ Melendez, and I'm going to believe every single year he's going to figure it out. But we're now on 3 straight seasons of him being a subpar defender out in the outfield and pretty horrible at the plate. Last year, 17 homers, 23 doubles, 44 RBIs. Like, it sounds okay, but then you see a 273 on base, a 674 slugging with an OPS plus of 87 with the bad defense. I don't know, maybe it's time to try him at catcher again where he originally started. I feel like you moved positions because you wanted to get that bat in the lineup, but the bat's not very good these first 3 years. I don't know, man. MJ Melendez, Merville's got to wake up. He's too talented to be hitting like this on a consistent basis. Speaking of disappointing, at number 28, I've got Christopher Morel, projected left fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays are weird. Morel might play a bunch of different positions next year. That's kind of his big thing. I actually think he is going to bounce back because I think a full year of Rays offseason will really do him some good. Because just back in 2023, he was awesome for the Chicago Cubs. 26 homers, 800 OPS in 107 games. Last year was a different case. A 634 OPS, sub 200 batting average, sub 300 on base percentage. He had a 258 on base with the Rays. He was atrocious, but I think maybe the new position in left field could help him out a bit. He's got a can of an arm. He's a good athlete. I think he'll be able to figure it out. Next up at number 27, I've got Chas McCormick of the Houston Astros. Astros outfield's been decimated, and now that you lost Kyle Tucker, Chas McCormick's definitely going to be starting. He was atrocious. After having a great 2023, he did everything wrong in 2024. 94 games. He had 12 extra base hits on the year, a 211 average, 271 on base, 306 slugging, and a 576 OPS for an OPS plus of 66. I hate dropping a guy nearly 20 spots, but I was way too aggressive. He was so bad. I know injuries played a little bit of a part, but my goodness. What a terrible year from Chas McCormick. There's just no way around it. I was pretty disappointed. Just missing on the top 25 at number 26, I've got Alex Verdugo. Verdugo spent last year with the Yankees, and it was the worst season of his career. Career lows in batting average, a sub 300 on base, which, like, oh my God, sub 300 on base. It was that bad? 647 OPS for an OPS plus of 83, 13 homers, 28 doubles, 61 RBIs. Like, Alex Verdugo just kind of is a fourth outfielder right now, going into his 29-year-old season on the free agent market. I'm not sure where he's going to call home next year, but wherever it is, I'm sure he's going to be fighting for a starting spot. If he's not getting on base, there's just not the greatest value there for Verdugo. Getting the top 25 started at number 25, Jarred Kelenic of the Atlanta Braves. Honestly, don't know if he will be their starter going into the season. They didn't really play him much down the stretch. They ended up going with Ramon Laureano, but right now he's projected to start in left. Kelenic still is young, only going into his 25-year-old season, and we've seen seen the talent before with this kid. He was a top draft pick. He had a ton of expectations. And while he hasn't really lived up to them, I think there are some things worth noting. That being said, he did have a sub 300 on base percentage last year, which is bad. 15 homers, 18 doubles, 2 triples, and 45 RBIs. A 679 OPS for an OPS plus of 87. And again, defensively, just nothing really to write home about. I don't know what the deal is with Kelenic. Maybe it's a mental thing, but he just has not been able to break through yet. For the 24th best left fielder in Major League Baseball this year, I'm going to the Milwaukee Brewers to talk about Sal Frelick. He could be right field, but at the time of recording, Fangraphs has him projected in left. And with Frelick, he's a great defender. He won a Gold Glove last year, but the bat just is not very good. 83 OPS plus, 259 average, 320 on base, 335 slugging. He had 2 homers, 22 doubles, 4 triples last year. He'll steal some bases. He's going to make great plays in the outfield. He has value to a team. I just don't think he's one of the best at a position where you usually tend to go bat over glove, but he's a pesky little player for sure. Keeping it in the National League Central at number 23, I've got Spencer Steer of the Cincinnati Reds. Steer had a great season from the counting numbers perspective. 20 homers, 34 doubles, 90 RBIs, and 25 stolen bases. There's not many guys in Major League Baseball who did that, but we know in Cincinnati, it's a bit of a hitter's park, and the rest of the numbers just didn't really love the season that Steer had. Of course, out in the outfield defensively, not particularly great. It's not really his position. He's kind of learning on the fly. Finished with a 225 average, 319 on base, 402 slugging for a 721 OPS, and OPS plus at 96. I think I was a little aggressive with where I had him last year. I think you find a little bit of a middle spot here, and he is a pretty good bat with okay defense. He's like a 2-win player. That's nothing special right now. For the 22nd best left fielder, I'm going to the Miami Marlins to talk about Jesus Sanchez. I'm always going to believe in Jesus Sanchez, another physical freak. Last year, I feel like he had a decent season. 149 games, 18 homers, 25 doubles, 64 RBIs with 16 stolen bases, hitting 252 with a 313 on base, 417 slugging, and a 731 OPS for an OPS plus at 97. Of course, in the outfield, bit of a butcher, has a good arm, but he's just a weird player where I know he's going to break out at some point, but when will he actually do it? Crazy, but Jesus Sanchez is older than Juan Soto. That doesn't even really compute in my head. I don't know why I brought it up. It didn't matter. Juan Soto's my dog now that he's a Met, but I just had to say it because Jesus Sanchez, while he is considered young, he's been in the majors for 5 seasons. When is he going to break out? Just missing out on the top 20 at number 21, I've got Michael Conforto, now of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think Michael Conforto is going to pop off with the Dodgers. It just feels like it's going to happen. And last year, he quietly put up a really nice year with the Giants. 20 homers, 27 doubles, 66 RBIs, a 237 batting average, 309 on base, 450 slugging, with an OPS at 759 for an OPS plus at 116. I feel like this could be a really good fit in that lineup where Michael Conforto doesn't have to do any of the heavy lifting whatsoever. He can be a platoon guy, face his right-handed pitchers. Seems like there's a world where Conforto could really be a huge bat for the Dodgers, and you don't even really care about the defense. Just gives you another good left-handed bat in that lineup, but the Dodgers could use towards the bottom, especially with their weird outfield depth. Getting the top 20 started at number 20, I've got Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies. Had to drop him down 14 spots. Was very aggressive with him in last year's rankings at number 6. But to be fair, he did crazy stuff in 106 games that made you think it was real. Last year, he dealt with injuries, and it seemed like it really affected his play because he was just awful across the board. 227 average, 321 on base, 320 slugging was extremely concerning, with an OPS at 641 for an OPS plus at 75. 3 homers, 13 doubles, and a triple in 79 games. 28 RBIs. He wasn't stealing bases. He was playing bad defense. I'm just going to chalk it up to injury, but I do have to bump him down a few. He's a really talented player. I hope with good health next season, he can go back to being a great left fielder. Next up at number 19, I've got Trevor Larnach of the Minnesota Twins. Twins left fielder could be very fluid as well. It might be Matt Wallner, it might be Larnach, could be somebody else, but right now we're going with Larnach, who in 112 games last year was actually kind of awesome. 15 homers, 17 doubles, 52 RBIs, a 338 on base, 434 slugging, 771 OPS for an OPS plus at 116. He walks 10% of the time, strikes out under 25%, which was a huge cut down from previous years. He hits the ball hard. He hits the ball in the air. Larnach's a sneaky good little player, maybe more consistent time. You can see him be a big bat in this Twins lineup next season. Coming in at number 18, I've got Jason Dominguez of the New York Yankees. I mean, it's about time they let this guy actually play left field, right? Can you believe they played Verdugo over him most of the season once he got healthy? Now, granted, we've only seen Jason Dominguez play 26 games, and maybe this is me buying into the hype and overreacting, but in those 26 games, 6 homers, 11 RBIs, a 747 OPS plus at 107. I'm more so looking at his 2023 small sample where I was very impressed at the player he is. I think he's going to be a good player out there in left field. I think there's a little more pressure now than there was last year because they are missing a bat named Juan Soto, but the Martian has been so hyped for so long. He is only going to be 22 next year. The power is definitely legit on Jason. I think he's going to be a top 20 left fielder by the end of the year, no doubt. Coming in at number 17 in left field rankings, I've got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He actually had a good season. Lourdes Gurriel is a good player. We're now getting into that kind of middle of the pack with all the left fielders where now it's just personal preference and trying to do a little more projecting. Gurriel last year, 18 homers, 22 doubles, 75 RBIs, 279 average, 322 on base, 435 slugging for a 757 OPS plus at 109. Gurriel is also a pretty decent left fielder defensively. While he doesn't have the greatest arm, he makes up for it out in left field in Arizona. Low K rate, low walk rate guy. He's just a solid baseball player. I don't think there's anything much else to say. He's good. You'd love him on your team. He's a good player. Middle of the pack here at number 16, I've got Philadelphia Phillies left fielder Brandon Marsh. Now, Marsh is at his best when he is platooning, of course. He doesn't do the greatest against left-handed pitching, but we saw another good year of Marsh where he was decent offensively, always a good fielder out there. He'll steal some bases, stole 19 last year, along with 16 homers and 17 doubles, which gave him 60 RBIs for the second straight season. A 249 average, 328 on base, 419 slugging for a 747 OPS, and an OPS plus at 109. Like, he's probably just a good outfielder. He's a 3-win player for the Phillies. I think someone who weirdly is super underrated in the grand scheme of that team, gives them a lot of what they need, which is just some defense at some point. Dropping down a bunch of spots here. I don't love it, but at number 15, I've got Lars Nootbaar of the Cardinals. Now, I might be crazy. This feels a little bit crazy. But truthfully, while Lars Nootbaar is a solid offensive player, and defensively, he's a fine left fielder, I think I'm just kind of bored and not really sold on him being anything but what he is, if that makes any sense. Like, he is a 10% better than league average hitter, and he's a 10% better than league average fielder who doesn't strike out a lot, who gets on base a decent bit. I'm probably severely underrating him, and I will be the first to say, hand up, I think I am. I just prefer the guys ahead of him on this list right now, and it doesn't feel good, but I'm going to stick with it. Lars Nootbaar, 15. Cardinals fans, roast me, please. But it's hard to say I don't prefer these other left fielders more going into next year. For the 14th best left fielder in today's video, I've got Elliot Ramos of the San Francisco Giants. There he is, Elliot Ramos. It finally happened. After being a top prospect for what feels like 5 years, he got his chance in 2024, and the dude popped off. 22 homers, 23 doubles, 72 RBIs in only 121 games. A 269 average, 322 on base, 469 slugging, and an OPS at 792 for an OPS plus at 125. He's going to be moving to the corner, which is so much better because he's not really a center fielder. That bat is legit. The bat was awesome last year. He was barreling up the ball at an insane rate. He's got crazy bat speed. Elliot Ramos feels very legit. It just goes to show you that sometimes prospects take a little bit longer to get there. Elliot Ramos being proof. For the 13th best left fielder in Major League Baseball, I'm going to go with Taylor Ward of the Los Angeles Angels. Shout out to Taylor Ward. It's his birthday today when I'm recording this. Just turned 31. And honestly, Taylor Ward's just a sneaky little good player. 25 homers, 26 doubles, 75 RBIs last year. You love to see that. 246 average, 323 on base, 426 slugging for an OPS at 748. He's good defensively. He doesn't swing and miss a ton. He puts the ball in play. He's starting to hit the ball in the air more. I think Taylor Ward is just a good left fielder. I wonder if the Angels ever cash in on his value and try and get some prospects back for him, because I think a team could use him. I mean, I got him at number 13. Ranked for the first time in the 12 days of MLB rankings at number 12, Wyatt Langford of the Texas Rangers. While Wyatt Langford had a very, very slow start to his rookie year, you look at the numbers at the end of the season, and they were really good for the 22-year-old. 16 homers, 25 doubles, 4 triples, 74 RBIs with 19 stolen bases in 134 games. He hit 250 with a 325 on base, 415 slugging, 740 OPS for an OPS plus at 111. Finished 7th in the Rookie of the Year voting. He is a good athlete out there. He's a good fielder who's a 4-win player. I think as a 22-year-old, you were actually very impressed considering he started off so slow. To see him be able to bounce back like that in the second half of the season, he was great. Langford's a guy to keep an eye out for next year. He's really talented. I mean, he was a 4th overall pick. We know he's good. Dropping out of the top 10, just outside of it, at number 11, I've got Randy Arozarena of the Seattle Mariners. Randy was actually great with the Mariners in the second half, but I think we're starting to see a little bit of the decline for Randy. Still gave you 20 homers, 30 doubles, 60 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. Like, love him there. Defensively, pretty horrible last year, and I do get concerned about Randy at times over a full season because we did see him just completely shut down with the Rays last year early on, and Seattle isn't always the easiest place to hit, but he walked a ton last year, 11% walk rate. It's just, I don't know if he is that top-notch hitter that we saw the last few seasons, and just the fall-off did concern me a little bit, but he still is a top 10 borderline guy in left field, which is low-key gotten a lot better the last season. Getting the top 10 started at number 10, newly acquired Baltimore Oriole Tyler O'Neill. I think it's super funny. The Orioles moving the Great Wall of Camden, they sign a power-hitting left fielder in Tyler O'Neill. He had an awesome bounce-back season. As soon as you leave the Cardinals as an outfielder, you just become better. 31 homers, 18 doubles, 61 RBIs in 113 games. A 241 371 average, 336 on base, 511 slugging for an OPS at 847, OPS plus at 132. I don't really care about the defensive numbers. Playing in Fenway is always bizarre, but wow, Tyler O'Neill super mashed last year, super rose his stock. Going into a free agent year, couldn't have timed it better, and I think the Orioles got a really nice right-handed bat in this lineup who should be very happy now that they moved in that wall and left, because he's going to hit some home runs in Baltimore. For the 9th best left fielder in Major League Baseball, I'm going to go with James Wood of the Washington Nationals. Maybe I am getting way too aggressive because we saw 79 games of James Wood, but wow was I impressed. 9 homers, 13 doubles, 4 triples, 41 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, a 264 average, 354 on base, 427 slugging, and a 781 OPS for an OPS plus at 122. I do genuinely believe that James Wood at some point will be one of the 10 best players in Major League Baseball. Having a nearly 12% walk rate at age 21 in that Nationals lineup with that power potential and the athleticism that he has, the ceiling is so insanely high. I think he's got to be a top 10 left fielder going into next season. He is a freak. He's 6'7", playing left field. There's not many guys who do that, and usually the ones who do end up pretty good. Next up, coming in at number 8, I've got Jurickson Profar, who isn't signed yet, but surely he'll be a San Diego Padre. He has to be. Profar just completely popped off last year. Might have been the best left fielder statistically in Major League Baseball last season. 158 games, 24 homers, 29 doubles, 85 RBIs with 10 stolen bases, hitting 280 with a 380 on base, 459 slugging, and an 839 OPS for an OPS plus at 134. The only reason I'm not putting him higher is because we've now seen 2 seasons where one was great, one was bad. To be fair, if he's with the Padres, it seems like he's going to be not just a top 10 left fielder, but a top 5 guy for sure, because he always hits with them. It was the Rockies that had kind of screwed him up in 2023, but Profar is very good. This is a guy who, if he does this again, honestly will be towards the top of this list. It's just, we saw 100+ games the previous year where he was bad. A little yin and yang. Got to keep it cool here. But Profar is really good. For the 7th best left fielder in Major League Baseball, my favorite team, the New York Mets, Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo had a down year after starting so hot. He went on a crazy surge, but we ended up finding out he had plantar fasciitis. Definitely played into how he performed the rest of the season. Still 23 homers, 25 doubles, 90 RBIs, and 15 stolen bases, a career high. A career low in batting average and on base, though. 224 average, 327 on base, 399 slugging for an OPS plus at 727. I do think the injuries played part of it. He tried to play through it, but something to monitor, because the first half of the year was so awesome for Nimmo. I thought the breakout was coming, where he wasn't just going to be a great player, but he was going to be one of the better ones. He slowed down quite a bit. Can't put him inside the top 5 like I really wanted to, but he still is good. We still love our child of God, Brandon Nimmo. For those of you who don't go to Mets games, his walk-up song is sang by Steven Matz's wife, and the lyrics are calling him a child of God. Electric stuff. Just type in Child of God, Brandon Nimmo. I'm sure you'll find the song. Just missing on the top 5 at number 6, I've got Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Brian Reynolds, another good year. Was even better last year. 24 homers, 29 doubles, 88 RBIs. It's pretty insane. You can just lock him in for those numbers. That's what he's basically done identically the last 2 years. Also stole 10 bases, 275 average, 344 on base, 447 slugging for a 791 OPS and an OPS plus at 119. It was the best year of his career since his breakout in 2021. Brian Reynolds, just a solid left fielder. Boring, but he's good. Fun Brian Reynolds fact, he was actually traded to the Pirates for Andrew McCutchen back in 2018. And also, shout out to him for getting paid. Getting the top 5 started at number 5, Chicago Cubs left fielder Ian Happ. Ian Happ truly could be one of the more underrated players in baseball. Like, he's mega boring, I get it, but 25 homers, 34 doubles, 86 RBIs, and 13 stolen bases last year. With good left field defense, he won a Gold Glove for the 3rd straight year. A 782 OPS, 340 on base, 120 OPS plus. I think Ian Happ just might be good, guys. Like, you're never going to talk about Ian Happ being one of the best players on your team. You don't want that. But as a 4th or 5th best bat, 5th best player, you would love to have Ian Happ on your team. The dude is just criminally underrated. Good baseball player all around. He's good. For the 4th best left fielder, I'm going to go with Teoscar Hernandez, who I believe is going to re-sign with the Dodgers, but we're not sure yet. I know he's more of a DH or maybe a right fielder, but last year he played majority of left field with the Dodgers, so we're just going to keep him there. He was awesome. While defensively, he is an absolute butcher out there. He is a good athlete, so he can make up for some of his defensive shortcomings with his athleticism. 33 homers, 32 doubles, 99 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. That's why you pay Teoscar Hernandez. That's why you get him. 272 average, 339 on base, 501 slugging for an 840 OPS. OPS plus at 137. There was at one point where you didn't want to see this guy up at the plate. He was so hot. All-star game, Silver Slugger, finished in the top 20 of the MVP voting. I mean, Teoscar is just a straight-up dog at the plate. Big reason why the Dodgers were able to win the World Series. Sneaky. Top 3 time at number 3, Detroit Tigers left fielder Riley Greene. Ooh, it's happening. Riley Greene is starting to become really good. Last year, he was a 5-win player at age 23 for the Tigers. One of the just more underrated players in the league because the Tigers in general were kind of slept on. 24 homers, 27 87 doubles, 74 RBIs, 262 with a 348 on base, 479 slugging, and 827 OPS. For an OPS plus at 133 is nasty. Defensively, he was a above average outfielder. He doesn't chase, he gets on base, he barrels the ball, and he's only 24. Yeah, Riley Greene might have that crazy pop-off season next year if the Tigers are still good and competitive. When he stays on the field, this guy is a stud. Just missing out the number 1 spot at number 2, I've got Stephen Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians. We stand Stephen Kwan in this household. Foolish Baseball was all over him years ago, and he couldn't have hit the nail on the head better. What was really cool about Stephen Kwan is that he was an average guy in the past, but this year, he hit 14 homers in 122 games, by far a career high. 292 average, 368 on base. He walked more than he struck out, 53 walks to 51 strikeouts. He has 185 walks in his career, 186 strikeouts, which is just insane. A 425 slugging last year, 793 OPS for an OPS plus at 126. He's a Gold Glover. He's phenomenal out in left field. He is an all-around great player. Stephen Kwan, super good. And then coming in as the number 1 left fielder in all of Major League Baseball, projected right now at that position for the Boston Red Sox, Jarren Duran. Jarren Duran had quite the season. He was unbelievable in 2024, and as someone who is a Jarren Duran believer, I'm glad to see it happen. Bought a ton of his cards, made some money now because of it. 21 homers, 48 doubles, the most in Major League Baseball, 14 triples, the most in Major League Baseball, 75 RBIs, 34 stolen bases. What a year! 285 average, 342 on base, 492 slugging, 834 OPS for an OPS plus at 129. Duran was literally disgusting. He was one of the most valuable players in Major League Baseball last year, finished 8th in the MVP voting, won the All-Star Game MVP. It was a dream season for Duran. I can't wait to see what he does in this upcoming season for the Red Sox because he really is a stud. If he puts together another one of these seasons like he did in 2024, you are talking about a top 10, 15 player in the league. He was just so good, and he is the best left fielder in baseball. So there they are. I ranked every left fielder in Major League Baseball. I'd love to know what you guys think about them down in the comment section below. Do you agree with my rankings? Do you disagree with them? I'd love to know what you think. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. These are my rankings from the shortstop video yesterday. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome, and I appreciate you. See you tomorrow for the center field rankings. Bye.